Watching your favorite anime characters getting overwhelmed by rage and then going insane never gets old. Oftentimes, it's exactly what we want, it gets our blood boiling, and we begin to feel the intensity of the moment. But sometimes, this subtle transition can almost be sad, or even depressing. It all depends on the nature of the moment. Well guys, let's talk about the top 10 anime rage moments. I actually did a video on this exact same topic with the exact list before, but that's not up to par. So here we are. Alright then, let's begin. For someone who has always had a cheeky personality, Takamura Mamoru is a man who trained harder than anyone else, and longer than anyone else. Even if it included going on without actual food for days or even weeks, he endured it all and trained his body despite the hunger and the mental fatigue that comes with it. And then, during his match against the current junior middleweight champion, Brian Hawks, who continuously mocked and insulted him, even though his body was way past its physical limits, something inside of him snapped, and what took control was rage mixed with his natural fighting instincts. Right then, at that very moment, Takamura became the embodiment of his lifelong struggles. Now, I don't want you guys to think that this legendary moment is at number 10 because other moments are better than this. No, rather, it's just because it felt right to start this video with this legendary scene.
I'm really mad! And now it's time to pay!
As Goku Black stabs Goku through Zamasu, he explains how after he stole his body, he killed him, and then he continued to kill Chi-Chi and Goten, all the while looking exactly like Goku. We know how it is. Goku only ever gets mad when someone that he holds dear to him is either hurt or killed. And now, Goku is mad. He is really mad. He lets out all of his blue aura and just dashes towards Goku Black, all the while rendering Zamasu useless. Even though Zamasu himself is immortal, Goku was able to overpower them for a brief amount of time. Subaru and Rem had finally started to understand each other. Heck, Rem had even started to develop feelings for Subaru after mercilessly killing him in one of his previous lives. But then, as they enter the forest, a swarm of hounds attacks them. Before they know it, Rem's hidden horn comes out, and just like that, her vicious side is exposed. Her eyes start emitting a mad aura, and her smile makes her look and act like a mad yandere. Rem wasn't herself anymore.
眼球内の水分が沸騰する気分はどうだ。想像を絶する痛みだろう。
After Hughes, who was probably the nicest guy in the entire series, gets killed, Roy Mustang can't help but feel the urge to bestow vengeance upon the person who killed him. And then, when Envy does the mistake of revealing that it was him who killed Hughes, and then they both finally come across each other, Roy tells everyone to go on ahead, as it will be him who deals with Envy. From there on out, it's Roy Mustang versus Envy. Or rather, versus is a misleading word here. When Envy had the audacity to transform into Hughes during their fight, that's when Roy got really mad. And from there on out, it wasn't just a battle anymore, it was simply Envy's obliteration. As Kana is about to meet Shinichi, both her and Shinichi detect a parasite nearby. Shinichi decides to ignore it, saying that it is not the time as he was about to meet Kana, but Kana approaches the signal thinking that it was Shinichi's. But what she sees is some other parasite feasting upon the body of a human. Shinichi rushes towards the signal because he also realized that Kana would definitely go towards that signal. However, the moment he sees her, the parasite stabs her right in front of him. After being shocked for a brief moment, his face turns stale, straight-faced, almost emotionless. He tells Migi to handle defense as he begins to rush the parasite. He instantly grabs and pulls out the heart of the parasite, making quick work of him, and then sees Kana die slowly in his arms. the lovely Mio, who took care of all the children and whose voice Hakimaru had come to love. She gets killed along with the other children, and when Hakimaru hears her voice as she is lying on the ground with blood all over her body and tears in her eyes, he shrieks like a mad hound. In a matter of a few moments, he brutally cuts down the bodies of almost all the soldiers. He would have killed them all if he hadn't been stopped by his companion. Years before becoming the man he is today, Levi used to be a man that survived in the underground. Together with his two comrades, Isabel and Farland, whom he treated as if they were his own siblings, Erwin Smith was not his ally back then. In a desperate attempt to kill him, he goes on ahead after telling both Isabel and Farland to go back. But unfortunately, and trust me as I'm saying this, it seems ridiculous to talk about, as he is on his way, he realizes that a Titan has gone after his two friends. He rushes back without wasting any moment, and the first thing he sees is Isabel's crying face lying on the ground, separated from her body. And there is a Titan eating Farland. Right then, in that moment, Levi's heart shatters as he sees the only thing he's ever held dear being taken from him. He goes insane. Even against that massive Titan, he barely wastes any time before beheading it, and then cutting off his fingers right down to tiny slices. As Griffith resurrects as Femto, Guts is standing there as he sees dozens of his companions dead and their corpses lying in a pool of blood, and Casca tied up in the air, naked. He is so shocked that he can't even find any words to say anything. Behind Casca is the reborn Griffith. He starts touching Casca all over her body. Guts becomes furious and dashes towards him, but his arm gets bitten by a demon. He uses his sword to break free of its bite, but it's no use. Meanwhile, Griffith continues to touch Casca and even steps it up a notch, right in front of Guts. Guts completely loses it. He uses his broken sword to cut off his own arm and then dashes right towards Griffith in a desperate attempt to get him away from Casca, but unfortunately, Griffith had become too strong. After barely escaping death and getting the opportunity to see his friends again, Obito rushes to the site where both Kakashi and Rin are currently confronted by the ninjas of the Hidden Mist Village, so that he can protect Rin together with his friend Kakashi. But what he sees there is a pure nightmare. He watches from a distance as his friend Kakashi pierces the heart of the girl he always loved. This makes him lose reason. He is an Uchiha, so such a dilemma also awakens his Mangekyo Sharingan. He lost the person he held dear the most, and thus he had no reason to stay sane anymore. He goes mad, kills everyone, and then he cries in the pool made from their blood. After telling Pitou to heal Kite, Gon starts losing patience, and then the moment he realizes that Pitou is not going to heal him, or rather she can't heal Kite, a red aura starts emerging inside of him. It grows stronger and stronger until it eventually starts reeking out of his body. He becomes immersed in that aura, and by this point, even Pitou realizes that something feels odd. It gradually becomes stronger and stronger. And right then, at that very moment, Gon becomes larger than life. He embraces all the strength he'll ever have, everything, and uses it all in the present, in turn gaining strength equal to that of the king. From there on out, it's one epic battle, and the fight ends only after Pitou's death. There you go, guys. I am sure there are quite a lot of moments like these. Heck, I can even see them popping in the back of my head. So you should mention your top 10 rage moments too in the comment section. Let's see what you got. Also, before you go, don't forget to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. It all helps, so thank you. Well then, as always, thanks for tuning in. I'm the Bearded Saiyan. I'll see you guys next time.